Guys, it's Luke bringing you my top 6 value plays for the 2021 WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational Tournament. In this video, I'm going to be covering my custom models top 6 plays for Draftkings DFS, priced $7,500 and below. Of course, my picks will be based on my comprehensive custom modeling approach that takes into consideration a course and how players play on it over the years. My goal is to use a data-based approach to try and take out the narratives, opinions, and other BS when it comes to DFS analysis. I use this type of approach to take on more than just the PGA Tour. I also cover the NFL, NBA, UFC, and more. So if you're looking for a data-based approach to taking on DFS, make sure to check out my channel. On top of my video content, I also have a Patreon page where I also post my projections for all the players and all PGA Tour events for just $1 every month. You get direct access to all of my projections. You also get ownership numbers, game theory notes, and more to come, so make sure to check that out. It is a great deal right now. The link is in the description, so make sure to take advantage of it. Without further delay though, guys, let's hop into the top 6 value plays for this week. Kicking out the value plays, at number 6 we have Sergio Garcia, priced at $7,300, and my model's number 22 golfer on the entire slate for this week. Sergio has been very much on brand of late, absolutely striping the golf ball and not making any putts whatsoever. Over his last 30 rounds, Garcia is gaining 0.71 strokes off the tee per round and also 0.89 strokes on approach over that same stretch. Together, that's 1.6 strokes per round ball striking, which is top 5 in the field, which is very excellent. It's very, like I said, on brand from Sergio Garcia. He's also a very solid around the green player. You haven't really seen that of late. He's just around neutral in terms of around the green play. But in terms of his historical baseline, he's somebody who typically gains a good amount of strokes around the green. At a course like TPC Southwind, where they're very small greens, people are going to be missing their fair share of greens. Getting up and down is going to be very useful. The obvious weakness for him is the putting, like I mentioned before. He's absolutely been leaking strokes with the flat stick. Over the same stretch, he's losing 0.9 strokes per round with the flat stick, essentially completely negating his approach play, so you don't really like to see that. But somebody who, just like Bryson DeChambeau I talked about in my core plays, all he really has to do is putt to a neutral level or even gain 1 or 2 strokes putting, and he's very live to win or even contend in the tournament. Bryson DeChambeau, that flaw is his approach play. He doesn't have those problems putting, but I really look at them in a very similar mindset this week. They only have that one part of their game that really needs to turn around, and they're going to do excellent. The thing is, for Garcia, I have a lot of optimism because if we take a look at how he's been putting of recent, again, it's been atrocious, but it's been on the bent grass surface. In terms of his historical baseline, he loses 0.51 strokes on average on the bent grass surface compared to what he normally putts. He's normally a very bad putter, but on bent grass, he becomes one of the worst in the game. Bermuda grass, though, he gains an extra 0.31 strokes per round on that surface. So I expect him to come onto a familiar surface, a place that he tends to putt a little bit better and to rebound a little bit in that category. And like I said, if he can putt to a neutral level this week, he's finishing in the top 10 to 15 in the tournament. And if he ends up gaining a stroke or 2 putting, he could win the damn thing. At number 5, we have Siwoo Kim, a $6,400 golfer, who is one of my core plays this week because of that salary flexibility that you get. Everyone and anyone was on him last week. A lot of people got burned by him. He was one of my fades last week for good reason. And a lot of that had to do with the pressure he was playing through. If you guys aren't familiar with the narrative last week, he had to win to get out of mandatory military service. It was his last attempt to do so. He's at the age now where he's essentially has to go into the military. And for Siwoo, that's going to be very disappointing to see. Obviously, it's going to derail his career a bit. He's not doing that for, I believe, 2 or 3 years from now. But yeah, he had a lot of pressure to perform last week, and I don't think really anyone would have gone through that, so I don't hold that against him. What I really do want to do is take a look at his statistical performance, and over the last 25 rounds, he's been a solid gainer in every category but with the flat stick. He's gaining 0.71 strokes per round tee to green, which is excellent. And again, the flat stick hasn't been great, but it's something that tends to come around for Siwoo Kim about every 2-3 events. He tends to pop with the putter, and when he does, he contends. We saw him win the American Express in huge runaway fashion this year. We saw him win the Players' Championship at the youngest age since Tiger. He's legit winning upside, and the fact that he's priced into the low $6,000 range is a little bit disrespectful, and I'm definitely hopping back on Siwoo Kim. Number 4, we have Garrick Higgo, a $6,300 golfer, who is also one of my core plays this week, and you guys can check that out in my other video. But he is my number 28 ranked golfer this week, and he's also somebody I think who's just disrespected with that price tag. He's not coming in with the best form, obviously. He has missed 3 out of his last 4 cuts. His best finish is a 41st place finish as well. But he's somebody who was a European Tour stalwart, somebody who was very impressive all around on the European Tour. He was 4th in putting, he was top 10 in driving distance, and top 25 in greens in regulation percentage as well. So you're getting somebody who's good across the board. And at $6,300, we've already seen him win a golf tournament before. He obviously won his first time out at the Palmetto Championship. And this far down the board, just like Siwoo Kim, if you have a guy who can go out and win a golf tournament, this is just a blatant misprice. These guys are, low 7K guys, probably mid 7.5 guys, if we're going to be honest. And he becomes a very good value play at that mark. Number 3, we have Sam Burns, a $6,900 golfer who ranks number 25 in terms of my modeling this week. And he comes into play with sneaky good form. He's somebody I've been targeting over the last 2-3 months, and that's because he has the skill set to take down just about any golf tournament. Over his last 30 rounds, he's gaining 0.75 shots gained approach per round and also 0.56 shots gained putting per round, which are both elite numbers in this field. We saw that translate to good performances at the Valspar Championship, a tournament he won and I was able to see in person. It was very impressive to just see how well he was striping the golf ball. It sounded different coming off his club face. He also the next week went out at the Byron Nelson, ended up finishing 2nd, nearly took down another tournament. There's just nothing this kid can't do. He has a very volatile game, a very high upside game where he can put a lot of birdies on the board, score a lot of fantasy points for Draftkings. And he's coming in with sneaky good form and being completely overlooked. He was played a lot at the Open Championship. He ended up making the cut, finishing in the top 30, which for him is actually very impressive. He doesn't really have a good around the green game. He's not somebody who's going to go out and really wow you in a major or anything like that. That was his best major performance. But he came through. He made a cut. He had a solid performance. And for Sam Burns, that's pretty impressive for me. If we take a look at his length off the tee, he's absolutely going to tear this course apart. There's some long par 3s that are really difficult, especially on the back 9 here at Southwind. So that length is going to make those holes just a little bit easier. And I think Sam Burns has a very good week at the WGC FedEx St. Jude. At number 2, we have Matthew Wolff, another bomber of the golf ball. He comes in at $6,800, and he's been very hit or miss of late, especially when he first came back from the PGA Tour. He had that very impressive performance at the US Open, miscut the next week, did pretty decent at the 3M Open, ended up making a cut, finishing top 10. And he's shown flashes of an old self, and his old self was a very good golfer, arguably a top 10 golfer in the world. So I'm buying back in on Matthew Wolff. We've seen those flashes of potential, and if he puts it all together, he goes out and he wins this golf tournament. He's somebody who has an elite off the tee game. He's been bleeding strokes off the tee of late, though, because of that accuracy. I expect that to come around at some point. But something that's been extremely impressive is his approach play. Even in this bad stretch of play, even when he's been bleeding strokes and missing cuts and whatnot, Matthew Wolff has been gaining on approach, which wasn't typically something that we saw from Matthew Wolff even when he was playing very well. So if he brings that driver accuracy back around, he's still been putting very well. He's going to be one of the best players in this field. So I don't necessarily think he's a very safe play this week. He's somebody who has a lot of volatility, like I just mentioned. But in terms of a GPP play where you're looking for a high upside, you're looking for lower ownership, and with $6,800 price tag, you also get a ton of salary flexibility. I think he's your guy for a GPP format. At number 1, we have Tyrrell Hatton. He's a $7,400 golfer, my number 16 ranked golfer in the entire field. So him being priced in the $7,000 range is just outrageous. He's my number 1 point per dollar rank of any golfer on the entire slate. And like I said, it's a blatant mispricing. He's been spectacular of late with his ball striking, gaining 1.23 shots gained ball striking. And he's also been great around the green, gaining 0.85 strokes around the green as well. Both of those numbers are exactly what I'm looking for at TPC Southwind. Again, with small greens, you're going to be missing a lot of them. He has the around the green game to get up and down, but he's also been very precise. He's going to put himself in plenty of opportunities to score at an event like this. He's definitely going to be chalk this week. Him being priced in the $7,000 range it's very glaring, right? People aren't going to miss that. He's a very big name player, but I'm definitely going to be over the field on him this week regardless. That's all I've got for this week's value plays. Let me know in the comments who your favorite value play $7,500 and below on Draftkings is for a chance to win a free month of my Patreon projections. Of course, make sure to enter. It's free. It's very simple to do. But if you guys want to get them anyways, you want access to those projections, it's just $1. The link is in the description again. My ownership reaction video is going to be out tomorrow morning, going over my top 3 fades and sleeper picks for this week's golf tournament. It's going to be coming out on Tuesdays rather than Wednesdays now to give you guys a little bit more time to watch the video and make adjustments for your lineups. I found that on Wednesday, a lot of you guys saw the video, but it might have been a little bit too late to make adjustments. So I'm making sure to get it nice and early for you guys to make those adjustments. With all that being said, thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the content. It really helps me out with growing the channel, and I really appreciate it. Good luck, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the ownership reaction.